Hello there guys, my name's XXTrapXX20 and welcome to a video. No, it's not FIFA related, and no, it's not Gears of War or Halo related, which is actually quite weird for my channel, but the actual video I'm going to be doing today is actually going to be the reason why I think Majora's Mask is the best game ever. This is not fact, far from fact. This is my personal opinion, my own personal comments on why the game's amazing, and etc, etc. And if you've never played Majora's Mask, I'm probably going to start this with a very quick plot synopsis of what happens and what you have to do in the game. Right, shortly after the events of Ocarina of Time, the hero of the game, Link, is left trotting through a forest on his horse Epona when he's attacked by the Skull Kid and his two fairies, and his horse is taken from him. And the game starts from there, basically. The plot is the Skull Kid has been possessed with an evil mask taken from the angry... Well, you could call him angry. They call him the happy mask salesman, but he's angry 95% of the time. And your job is to claim the mask back in 3 days. But these 3 days aren't one set of 3 days. These could be 100 or 1,000, depending on how well you know the game and how quick you pick up the game's pace. Basically, what it's set on is you have to use your ocarina to keep going back in time to stop the Skull Kid, and the game is a very, very, very hard learning curve. But that's it, basically. You have to collect masks, playing as different characters and learning different storylines of these characters in order to collect the masks, go to the moon, fight the Skull Kid, and take back the masks. And most people are probably wondering, what happens at the end of the 3 days if you don't stop the Skull Kid? Well, if you look, that moon right there comes down and kills everyone, including yourself. So that, guys, is just a basic description of what happens in this game. So before the gameplay footage starts playing, I'm going to get into my first point. The first point to why Majora's Mask, personally for me, is such an amazing game is, for the first time in Zelda's whole existence, it threw fans in a complete different direction. When the game was being created, even the makers themselves turned around and said that this game is going to be darker and scarier than any other Zelda game ever made. And that's exactly what they delivered with. The game has a haunting feeling throughout it. Throughout the 3 days that you're trying to stop this moon, you're constantly haunted by the fact that you are on a time limit. And you're seeing zombies, men who have been turned into zombies, you're seeing people dying and you're having to use their spirits to fight. It's a very, very dark game, considering before this you were riding around on your horse having a good time trying to stop the big evil wizard from killing people. And it's thrown in just such a different direction in this game, and it's amazing. I mean, it was executed perfectly. And the whole creepy atmosphere of the game was just captured perfectly in each bit of dialogue that the characters give you. In the first day you're playing, the characters are totally unaware of what's going on, but by the time you reach the final hours of the game, you can talk to the characters and the dialogue will change. They'll be speaking differently, they'll be scared of what's going on. Also, the game has a very, very hard aspect that you need to grasp onto, where you need to play differently in each set of 3 days to collect the different masks. For example, there is a farm not far called Romani's Ranch, and there is a giant boulder blocking the way. There's two ways of getting rid of this boulder. You can either A, get a special bomb for a certain character and blow it up, or B, wait till the third day in there, and that's where you get your horse back. But go into that too much. My second point is that this game was a test. It wasn't not an easy game. From the looks, it might look like a kid's game, but when I was a child I played this game religiously. This game was my religion. I played it all the time. But yeah, I've still never completed this game. I've got very, very close, but I've never actually ever completed it. I've seen it completed, I know what happens, but I recently bought the 3DS version of it, and when I do get along to playing it, I want to make sure I give it a good go. But the whole 3-day system in this game makes it very hard because you have to learn the rhythm of everything, what happens at what time and what place, and you have to go through, and you can only do say 2% of the game at a time. And these 3-day periods aren't short 3-day periods, they're like hours at a time. So you've got to really catch on to what's happening when. So if you fail the first day period, you've got to go back and do it again, because if you slip up once, you've messed up your whole cycle. And you'll find yourself slipping up more than once in this game at certain missions. For example, Kathy's mission. The story behind Kathy is he's a young man getting married to a young woman who works at the inn, and the Skull Kid turned him into a child when he first arrived in Clocktown. And the mission is you have to sneak into Kathy's house whilst he's collecting the mail, which doesn't happen, I think, once every day. And from there there's this huge spiral and quest where you find out all different things, and it ends up with you having to help Kathy turn back into a man. And there's a huge payoff at the end of the game where you actually see Kathy get married. You're at his wedding outside of Clocktown and everyone's there. Even Tingle's there, the creepy balloon guy, throwing paper mache on people, and it's great to watch because that's just the reward the game gives you for it. But I think that's going to be the end of my second point. My next point is that both games, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, offered very different playstyles, but I personally prefer the Majora's Mask playstyle. In Ocarina of Time, which for those of you who didn't know, it's the game before Majora's Mask, the first Legend of Zelda game, well, not the first, but the first of its kind, offered only where you could play as Link, where it was just your sword and your gadgets or your weapons that you acquired over your quest. But in Majora's Mask they offered the character masks, which was the Deku Scrub, the Goron and the Zora mask. What these did, they offered their own different playstyle. I mean, if you want to be a Deku Scrub, you can swing around like you see him in the video right now. If you wanted to be a Goron, you could roll around with spikes coming out your back, destroying everything in your path. Or if you wanted to be a Zora, you could swim around and fight sea monsters if you really wanted to. And that's what was so good about it. They had all these different characters you could play as. And my final point, guys, is going to be the point that is the game you're looking at right now, and the game I'm talking about, like it's godsend, only took a year to make. 1 year. Instead of pumping out an annual release of Call of Duty or another FIFA game, they made this game. Of course they had to use the engine of Ocarina of Time, which took 5 years to create, but Majora's Mask only took 1 year. But yet both games were eligible for a 3DS remake, so clearly there was a cult following for Majora's Mask, and I would happily be a member of that cult. I mean, the game is outstanding, the game has great visuals, it's just so much fun to play. And the amazing thing is, this game was developed by about 40 people. To put that into perspective, fill a college lecture hall with 4 people. So if you got a college lecture hall, put almost all the seats full and left a few empty, and said, I want you to make me a game, and they came back with this, all those people deserve good. Because this will always stick with me for the rest of my life. I mean, the game is an amazing game. And I'm sure people are going to agree, I'm sure some people are going to disagree, but in my opinion, this game is an all-time great. It will never, ever die. I mean, just the creepy characters, the creepy visuals, the happy music that I'm sure you could love from it on. Just everything in this game, amazing. And from the moment I put this on as a kid, it gripped me. It is a true gem of its era, and in my eyes it shadowed Ocarina of Time with ease. It was its own product on its own. Don't care if it's engine. It was just thank you guys for watching. Why don't you leave a comment and tell me what you think about Majora's Mask? Or you might like a different game, you might like Wind Waker, you might like A Link to the Past, you might like Ocarina of Time, and I'm not slating Ocarina of Time. I think they're both brilliant games. I think each Legend of Zelda game brings its own amazing things to the table that is the series Legend of Zelda, but personally there's something for me that just grips me about Majora's Mask, and I think that might be the creepy gameplay. But Ocarina of Time has its own amazing engine that it created. A Link to the Past has a grip and drive and story. Wind Waker has its own amazing visuals, and that's what is amazing about this series. So as I said before, guys, My name is XXRapXX20. Be sure to leave a comment, leaving your opinion on Majora's Mask or anything else, and be sure to like the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Adios.